Today's matchup, Runaway, Uncia.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Apex Overwatch Season 3. I'm still Atlas, still joined by the lovely Wolf, and yes,
it's still your birthday. So.
It is still my birthday. I only got a few hours left, but thankfully I get to spend some of them commentating these beautiful teams. Of course, our runners-up, Runaway. Oh, the crowd favorites. They play with our hearts, don't they, Wolf? They're up against Kongdu Uncia, the sister team to Panthera, who honestly took all the good players, man. I mean, not all of them. These still are a fantastic group in their own right, but feels like they're losing out in the resource battle in the Kongdus.
I definitely feel there's a level of drain in terms of skill that Panthera absorbed a lot of the talent from Uncia, but sometimes it's actually done intentionally by teams to actually foster talent on two different teams, pick the best, put them into the S team to hope that that A team, comparatively, obviously will rise to the task and become an S team as well with their new roster. So it looks bad for them for now, but I think they'll come into their own eventually with the new roster swaps coming in. Birdring, of course, being the big change there. He was one of the best players in Season 2 and even all the way back in Season 1. He's always been a very talented player, so losing him is definitely feels like something is hurting in the side of Uncia, and I think they're going to be the underdogs tonight. Africa Freaks Blue did destroy Runaway in their match, their opening match. This is going to be their second match. There were a lot of issues, of course, from that time. It was right after the finals when they came off of that loss. It was a bit of a meta switch. And not only that, someone's like,
we've got some crazy stuff happening.
But not only that, but they here's our fans here, Butcher fans. They were all sick, is what everyone was saying, right? They were actually like the entire team, practicing together, training together. They all had sickness, so they were actually in bad condition at the time, and they should have had enough time, of course, by now to be rested up and recovered. So the Hawksall fans here, and Cox fans, is Cox the best on that sign?
Well, Hawksall's the guy that we're really going to be looking at on the side of Runaway. Unfortunately, we're not going to be having Kaiser starting here for the Runaway squad. Of course, has been a player to watch recently.
A lot of Cox fans here. And Kalios fan, excuse me, is here as well. See if he ends up coming in.
What a glorious likeness.
Looks just like him. So, Kalios is technically a sub. We'll see if he ends up coming in, but more so focused obviously on right now Kaiser, who is the player who really has been so on fire for such a long time. He was not on the starting roster when they played against Africa Freaks Blue, but he was subbed in. So it wasn't enough to bring them back to life in that series, as Blue is on fire.
Yeah, they're undefeated. Plus 6 points in the group. We mentioned at the very top of the day, but Africa Freaks Blue are honestly one of the most impressive teams at Apex at the moment. Their compositions are so clean. The way that they actually execute on the map, so clean.
It's actually kind of a cool storyline that we have both Season 1 finalists really stepping it back up. Let's take a look at our teams here for our second match of the evening.
2부 팀에 있었거든요. 1부에 오면서 이렇게 관중들도 많고 오프라인으로 진행하게 되니까 긴장이 많이 되더라고요. 아쉬움이 좀 많이 남아요.
런웨이는 아무래도 힘든 지난 시즌을 겪어내면서 체력 회복이 좀 덜 됐다. 휴식이 필요해요, 사실.
제가 조금 더 잘했으면 결과가 달라지지 않았을까요? 다시 방송이나 해라. 뭐 그런 글들 많았는데 나는 지금 절박하다. 심각성을 느꼈어요.
런웨이 경기를 봤는데 팀합이 아직 안 맞는 게 눈에 보였어요. 딜딩이 큰 것 같아요. 미라지 선수가 서브 딜러나 서브 탱커 챔피언에 대해서 숙련도가 좀 떨어지는 것 같아요.
데민이나 DK 전혀 걱정 안 돼요. 왜냐면 저희 딜러진이 더 잘하거든요. 버드레인을 거기서 뺀 거는 콩두의 치명적인 실수예요. 판테한테 몰빵했어요.
저희들이 쓸 수 있는 픽의 다양성을 확립하는 게 가장 중요할 것 같아요. 3대2 정도로 조금 이겨볼 수 있지 않을까요?
3대1? 저희가 3. 저만 잘하면 될 것 같아요. 저희 팀에는 세계 최고의 겐지가 있고 세계 최고의 트레이스가 있으니까.
미라지 선수 이번에 나올지는 모르겠지만 후보에서 뛸 수 있으면 화이팅!
It's once again everything in the Stitch and Huxtol basket, which makes a heck of a lot of sense. Both of these players, phenomenal. They mentioned, you know, best Tracer, best Genji. Not sure whether that is necessarily entirely correct. I mean, I feel like Who Are You would have something to say about the Genji battle.
Yeah, a lot of people would say there's a really tough question to be answered right now. Who's the best Tracer in the world? There's just so many good ones, and she is just so fixed in the meta.
And here in Korea as well, I mean, asking the question of who is the best Genji is also a difficult one for almost the same reason. Although we didn't see much of him in our first series, just not those super prideful Genji players. No Carpes, no Who Are Yous, no Huxals. This time, you can see him right there.
So Runaway has a massive roster to pull from, and it really feels like right now, trying to push Mirage into the team is a flex player. And a lot of people said he underperformed. As he said in the interview even, there was a lot of trash talk on the Korean forums, like community sites saying very underperformed. He's a streamer, right? As many Overwatch players in Korea are. And people were saying, well, just go be a streamer, you're not cut out for this. But I think everyone had a tough time in that first matchup. I'm expecting Runaway to bounce back here because they're just so solid as a team. They have a large fan base. They're, of course, finalists of Season 2. After having an amazing run through the promotions tournament for Season 2. They're here in Apex Season 3. High expectations against them. Uncia on the other hand has been struggling as well.
Yeah, and look, we heard it mentioned in that player interview, the fact that Uncia has been denied a little bit as far as, you know, Bergering leaving, which is so incredibly important. We saw him on Tuesday and, on Friday, and he was so good. Really settling in over on Panthera, but still, Uncia was not necessarily known as the star power team. It was always the controlled team. But like, if you're talking about the two Kongdu rosters, so we can see them up there on your screen right now, they were known for coordination, for intelligence, whereas Panthera was often the blunt object being thrown repeatedly at you until you fell over.
Sure. In terms of mechanical skill, they seem to be the stronger, especially with the addition of Birdring. So, see if Uncia can make this new team work. They struggled already in their first match, and Poise actually had a very weak performance on the Tracer, and he was heavily criticized for it, but he's on the sub today. He's on the bench, and we butcher the main DPS role. See how Decay does here, working with him. Panker, again, one of the players who was most famed for his Reinhardt play back in the day. And now that Reinhardt's less common in the meta, the Winston is more used with the dive. Something that is definitely hurting the team in terms of team strengths. And one of the big strengths for Runaway is, of course, Stitch on the Tracer, Oxel on the Genji. They're just famed players for this role. And in this meta, it's most important to have these two so strong right now.
Yeah, and Mirage will be doing sort of that McCree, the far as like all of these other sort of options that you can throw in. Soldier in the most common compositions that we have been seeing with the triple DPS. Maybe not necessarily based on our first series of the day, but certainly across the board. Mirage, you can see there with the Soldier right up front. Bumper have been asking a few questions about. He's actually subbed out for Kaiser, as we mentioned earlier on in the first series that we saw these guys. But I want you to sort of put that from your mind. Put that series from your mind. We'll give Runaway another opportunity to prove themselves as, understandably, the runners-up in Apex Season 2.
With the addition of these new aggressive players, Decay and Damien, Dance has actually been relegated into the support role. He was actually the DPS for Kongdu Uncia before, so that's something that I feel like does hurt the team a little bit in terms of how his mechanical skill played in. Now he's going to force to play his other role. Can still go into the Ana, which is very important to hit sleep darts against Hoxall specifically. He's going to have to do his best Yue Zhong impression here in this best of 5. But, you know, we've already seen players like Harry Hook able to flex onto the Soldier. That's something that he could definitely do. And we even saw Chips playing the Sombra. We'll see that from Dance tonight. As Control will be our first map, as is the format of Apex. So we're going to Oasis yet again.
We've spent a lot of time on the Oasis today, and I'm happy for it. We can see a whole lot of different strategies utilized as well. I do like this particular control point map, and we'll test to see whether the flexibility has been built on by both of these teams. You mentioned having, you know, support players that weren't necessarily 100% Lucio, 100% Ana like we were seeing a little bit of in Season 2. Can we see the Sombra coming out maybe in a support position? Something like that to really mix things up. We actually saw the omission of Lucio in, I think, one composition that we saw in our first series of the night, with Zenyatta being opted in for instead, maybe a little bit more stationary.
we've also seen the solo Ana, which was used on the Hollywood defense
Yes,
there by
that's true.
India, so
And that was genius.
worked out really
Seemed to
well
be.
for them.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to our very first map, Kongdo Uncia versus Runaway on Oasis.
I get it.
Well, there were definitely some passionate fans in the audience for this, our final series of the night. Starting off now, our first control point map will be Oasis.
That's right. So as we head into Garden, more open area. Both teams have the Genjis locked in right now. It's probably going to be switched over to Hot Stall with this one. Buffalo back on the Winston.
They're all just switching it all up because they can.
Well, the composition for Uncia looks to be pretty legit, though.
Yeah.
Actually, Mirage running the Diva here to start things off, so Axel will be on just the Winston. Bumper on the Diva, so a Genji-less comp. Decay, however, will be running it on the side of Uncia.
Yeah, this is an incredibly standard triple DPS composition, but this is a map that does honestly work very, very effectively for these pharmacy compositions. Especially, like, look at this, already just so much of an opportunity to get up there and fire these rockets pretty easily. Oh, and already Stitch running into problems, had to jump himself back. Damon being frustrating, picks going off left, right, and center, but it's looking relatively balanced now. Only Butcher and Decay left though here for Kongdo Uncia.
Stitch carried that fight there. No one was able to deal with him. He was on the back line getting several picks, and it seems like the whole story of tonight is the Tracer's story.
Yeah.
Damien picked off early, so Stitch just left unharassed in the back line and ripped it apart. So Kongdo Uncia gonna have to reset here. They only have, 60% of that Dragon Blade. Nothing to pair with it yet, but Decay is getting some good harass.
Yeah, trying to charge that Dragon Blade up as best he can, but Stitch has got another kill off in this back line. Runaway getting torn apart though, you can see Kongdo Uncia answering back now in this death ball. Decay has himself that Dragon Blade, doesn't need to use it yet, just because Runaway have been forced to scatter.
Mirage doing so much damage right now. Decay actually had an amazing dash. They hit 4. That was so much extra damage there. It helped him get that Dragon Blade.
Well,
Here's the
Mirage
pick
is
on
going to
Mirage.
fall. Yeah, Butcher is able to pick that one up, so it has a little bit extra here. Not going to find anything with that Pulse Bomb. Good speed up to make sure the Cox gets out of the way. Rez comes in as Runner. Oh my god, helping out everyone.
Okay, does get picked off here though. The Dragon Blade comes out.
Okay, trying to find some more kills, but that Dragon Blade runs down. It's only Runner that was able to be claimed as not finding any kills with the self-destruct, but gets everyone off the point, and Runaway now finding themselves some picks off the back end of this fight. Stitch always in the right place at the right
Always.
time.
And also the usage of the self-destruct by Bumper to make sure he can keep his mech and stay alive there, buying time, holding the point. Uncia does have a lot of ults they could use to attack this once again. They have the better ult economy, if you will, but it was really well done by Runaway. They bought so much extra time off the back of Bumper's self-destruct there. Very well used, holding it to the last second.
Stitch is grabbing the health pack, making sure that he can deny that from the opposition team as there's the rocket barrage. Barrier comes in, but is it going to be enough? It was a decent defense matrix to try and help out, and that is going to be the answering kills coming out of Kongdo Uncia. Bumper's going to be knocked out as well. That tracking was decent there from Butcher, but the rest of his team's going to be able to clean that one up, and that was very close to a team wipe.
But now Runaway has so much time. It's why it's so important to buy time and build up to 99%, because now they should be able to build a full ult push with so much time to work with. I would have really liked them to try to be a little bit more conservative with that barrage, because now they have a res available. Doesn't pair with much else. Either way, they wanted to use it. They did fail. They did force Dance to use the Transcendence. He's looking to build it up here again. The rest of their ults, they have so much time again to work with to build this.
Yep, some defensive opportunities here, but already Kongdo Uncia taking a lot of damage. Tackvisor comes in, he really wants that Burrow and gets a Butcher successful in that one. Damon able to grab a kill there with the Pulse Bomb as well. They're investing a lot into this push, but it's effective. Butcher somehow gets a Helix rocket into a Tracer, which is almost unheard of, to be honest, but Kongdo Uncia holding off nicely.
And Runner did use the res there, so it's not going to be available now. Suddenly, even if they have this huge ult push, the res was going to be the big one. Suddenly Uncia still has the Dragon Blade. They can pair that with a sound barrier. Yeah, it's still absolutely winnable for them.
Resource management actually working out very nicely here for Kongdo Uncia. We've mentioned that this is a team that's used to playing controlled. You can expect intelligent decisions to be made from these guys. Not necessarily the mechanics, but the thinking and the ideas. But Huxall, he's got something to say about that as he Goomba stomps Damon. And that is going to be Decay now using that Dragon Blade. Gets one pick for it onto Stitch, but that is a very important one. We know what Stitch is capable of. Another self-destruct, not going to find a kill, but Mirage is able to grab one. Immediately killed by Butcher, though, in response. Is now on that high ground, able to take control. Defense Matrix here from Runner, just trying to deny Butcher anything, but he's not going to be able to kill him.
Oh, Butcher, actually, that was so huge. He did so much for his team there. He may have just won this round for Uncia. He's about to have the tac visor, didn't have it yet. It's going to be a defensive tool. Damon harassing here, drawing away that Diva.
That's how you tell him to go away. Just throws a pulse bomb at him. And that is going to be the mech suit being taken out. Huxall able to take down Decay, just takes down the Genji. You could think maybe a bit of revenge.
Here's
there.
the tac.
Yep, there it is. Butcher, he's charged it up and he's now looking for some kills. But there's no one here. None of his opponents are actually on the point until that's worn off.
Very defensive usage here by Runaway of just running away, just avoiding that tac visor entirely. They want to survive for the res, but Runner goes down. That was so important that they got that pick.
Yeah, now they're fighting inside this choked up area as well. Butcher staying in amongst it. Will get taken out of his mech, but Mirage is just getting picks everywhere. Is this going to be enough, though? Is it still overtime? Runaway want to try and get this flip back. Remember, 99 to 99. Oh my God, Kongdo answering, but at least there's still a Tracer. I said it, but
Decay.
See you later.
Just unkillable there, avoiding everything that Mirage was throwing at him. He just couldn't get the connects there. Decay gets the finishing kill there on Mirage and onto Stitch. And wins it there, but I feel like Butcher in that last fight really won that round for them because he got so many picks that really screwed up the ults coming in for Runaway. Runner dropped down the sound barrier early. They couldn't find anything from that. And they were just trying to get themselves together to build up that res. If they have the res, they almost take it no matter what, but they just couldn't have it. The target selection on the side of Uncia was better. And already a rough start here for the Season 2 finalists in Runaway.
And Butcher is theoretically a tank player, and this guy is looking real good on this Soldier as well. Some pivotal play. Damon as well, looking decent on this Tracer, even though Stitch really has a name for himself as
we
the
move
Tracer
into
player.
University, still no Sombra for either team. Oddly absent here, as we see a lot on Oasis.
Huxall is most certainly dead as he gets Tesla gunned. A bit unfortunate for him. I mean, he's got one of those himself. Doesn't really want to be dealing with it, but with the first pick now going over to the side of Kongdo Uncia, they're following through. And these relatively staggered kills are important as well as they cap this. First off, there it is. To start this one ticking up, Runaway have to wait a little while.
When you make the comparison between Butcher and Mirage so far, it just feels like Butcher's positioning is always better. He has more support. I think a lot of that comes from Decay just harassing non-stop with the Tracer. The triple DPS here just winning out for Kongdo Uncia, as Mirage is just not able to find the shots, find the angle.
Yeah, the comfort with this hyper meta new composition just looks real good for Kongdo Uncia. I've seen examples of that before as Damon possibly caught out here. Is going to be able to get the kill into Huxall first off, though, and there's Dance able to grab Runner with some big crits from these orbs. Kongdo Uncia once again scatter Runaway.
Mirage has the tac visor, but so does Butcher. And he's just already starting to harass here, stop them from coming in. It just feels like Mirage is never able to find a window because he's been constantly harassed either by Decay or Damien. And whenever he tries to step forward, Butcher's already targeting him down. You can see here comes Huxall into the front lines. They're looking to dive this. Here's the tac visor for Mirage.
The nano on him as well, trying to do what they can. They've thrown so much into this push, though. And there's the Primal Rage. Damon's able to pick up Huxall. And that was such an investment. They haven't even got anything from this yet. They lose the mech. The front line's gone. Decay's going off. And Butcher's picking up the kills. Kongdo Uncia.
This is just not.
They didn't have the resources that Runaway had in that fight. That was like 4 ultimates versus what, 1 or 2?
Yeah, and now Uncia still has attack buys with the sound barrier. So many different tools to use here. They lack the Transcendence and the Dragon Blade, but this is just way better play out of Uncia, especially in terms of the soldier play. And this double DPS is not working out for Runaway so far.
Damon being frustrating, but does manage to stab back and save himself. In goes Butcher. Does have that attack visor like you were mentioning before. Sound barrier will also be important for that, but we're ticking up to 95. Yeah, sound barrier has been invested here from Kong to Uncia. They know they just need one more fight. The flank comes in from Butcher and pushing them into the wrong position. Mirage is going to be immediately taken out. They do get Butcher, but has he spread the team around enough? It looks like it, as there's 3 picks already. No support remaining as the self-destruct flies through, and the overtime was ticking down
Dragon Blade
so quickly. Yeah, Dragon Blade is going to be thrown out. Decay able to get rid of Stitch. It means he can't bounce around on this point. Overtime ticks, and Kongdu Uncia.
I have to be critical of Mirage. It just feels like with the double DPS, they can't do as much as what Butcher's able to accomplish. There was no one harassing him whatsoever, not even a little bit. Huxall dives into the front lines immediately, but he's nowhere near the main DPS. Butcher is able to get on the high ground, then find the right angle to come behind. As Panker is so hyped, he's shaking, but...
Yeah, Panker was actually just looking completely baffled. He's like, how? What?
I look at what Butcher is able to accomplish comparatively to Mirage. His positioning is better, the support is better, and no one is ever harassing him. Huxall just doesn't feel to be too great on the Winston in terms of harassing the soldier, and when you have triple DPS versus just double, your soldier needs to be doing a lot more, and if you can't get into position to do that, if you're constantly harassed by the Genji, Decay, getting the backlines there, always allowing Butcher to have that freedom, I mean, tactical pause coming out here super early, but it may be warranted on the side of Runaway because that was nasty.
Yeah, that was just immediately, something has gone completely wrong, guys. I mean, Oasis, we're comfortable on this map. What happened? And immediately just trying to make sure that they can get their heads back to straightness on the side of Runaway. And I like this, actually, to go for that tactical pause before they're 2 games down, you know, before it's a necessity in this series.
I feel like Runner was very aggressive with his reses and couldn't actually position himself well enough to survive long enough on that first round of Oasis either. So the reses they needed, they were so reliant on, they couldn't have. I feel like Stitch is really actually carrying the team right now in terms of DPS, but
yeah,
when you split the DPS role into just 2 heroes instead of 3, he has to do a lot more. And with the better defensive setup we're seeing so far from Uncia, Panker as well, just actually really positioning himself, having the right bubbles. I feel like Runaway just needs to either alter their composition, put Huxall back on. If they're going to run 2-2, I want to see it with Huxall back on the
Genji or something like that, yeah.
Because his Winston just isn't disruptive enough to actually deal with what we're seeing so far out of Butcher. He's just way outplaying Mirage. And, you know, everyone's been really critical of Mirage, the community as well, as you said in that interview. He's got a large fan base, he's a really popular streamer. But Butcher just seems to be way better tonight from the start of things.
And we know Runner is a popular streamer as well. I mean, this makes sense on the side of Runaway as far as how they work and what they're known for. You can see them out on your screen right there. But look, Mirage still has some opportunities to get himself back into form. And when you are targeted so much by the community like this, it can get into your head, and it especially affects you in game number 1. Like, that's when you have to get the jitters out. That's when you have to immerse yourself in the game, in what you're doing, get comfortable, and get your head in it. So maybe this tactical pause is just going to try and speed up that process as much as possible, get Mirage used to this booth as quickly as they can.
Yeah, I mean, look, Mirage didn't grow up with the team. There's a new member coming in, and it's just, it's going to take some time to get adjusted, right? With all this pressure, though, on him, as he's kind of a sub-player, he's now moving in as a main player, it seems to be, with how they're bringing these rosters in. It's a lot of pressure, and the crowd is with Runaway. And we saw, you know, I don't know if you guys really heard it that well, but when the interview came up when it was Mirage, it was the loudest cheer we've heard all evening. So, yeah. I mean, the fans are with him. And I'm not trying to say he's playing horribly or anything like that, but with the comp they've chosen, so much extra pressure is put on him to do the DPS, and the harassment against him is way better than what Stitch is able to provide alone against that of Butcher. Things like this, just freedom for a soldier to just casually walk around the backside and pick off 2 DPSs in the middle of the fight. It just should not be happening.
And he like, as well. I mean, that last push was just so incredibly beautiful with the thinking in place for Kongdo Uncia. We know that this is what this team is all about, but the fact that he gets that flank, 2 people have to then dive on him. That's the front line just leaving the back line to be mown down by this 3 DPS composition. It's perfect. It's exactly what you want out of that composition and out of that soldier with even investing the tac visor. He gets 1 kill and then he's like killed by 2 tanks. Well, that's exactly what they want.
Exactly. So, a lot of pressure on Uncia as well. I mean, Panker with the hands shaken.
Yeah.
Butcher head in hands. I feel like this, I would expect to see more smiles out of Uncia with that dominant performance as we go to our escort map, or excuse me, hybrid map. It's going to be King's Row yet again.
Yeah. I like it. Like me some King's Row. It's not exactly the same story as we saw for our first series of the night. We'll see what these guys are going to be able to do with it, because now it's a bit of a change-up for Runaway. They can utilize these more beefy compositions a little bit more effectively. Might have a little bit more of an answer to the possible 3 DPS threat coming out from Kongdo Uncia that they just look so comfortable with. We saw it in previous series as well. They have most certainly adapted to that particular meta.
This is also Uncia, their favorite map historically, so an interesting choice here for Runaway. Very confident going to the second map, the hybrid.
Yeah, well, we'll see whether that tactical pause is going to help things out here for Runaway as we hop towards King's Row.
I get it.
Whew. Some passionate fans in this audience, Wolf. And everyone really wanting Runaway to find themselves in this particular series. And the thing that I am very happy about right now, looking at these compositions as they are set out, I mean, Runaway can, of course, change at any moment. The next 49 seconds. Huxal sitting now on the Genji.
Exactly. All eyes on Huxal here. You know, he and Who Are You, the most epic Genji battle the world has ever seen in the Season 2 finals. Statement's just showing off right now. Yeah, going to be him on the soldier this time. Butcher on the D.Va, it looks like, but
Panker just wants to play some video games.
Look
He's
at
like, I don't have any in my video games.
It's like, D.Va, can you show me your stream real quick? It's like, oh, yeah, I'll just check it out, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that's really interesting.
Well, you're really, really good at that.
D.Va's like, well, if you want to watch, you could just turn on my stream. I'm on apm.tv. Getting their promotion out.
Yeah,
Look, this draft for Runaway now, this setup, this composition is the triple DPS, Cox on the Winston, and Huxal now on the Genji. More of what you'd expect to see. Bumper on the D.Va. So it's solo heals for Runner, with the exception of course, Mirage to have some healing.
Yeah, Cox, decent position here to try and get some sort of flanking play onto that point directly. Now Huxal getting his eye in with this Genji, already up to 27, make that 28 as he dives into the back line. Good sleep dart, but he gets tagged and woken up. Decay going to be able to grab Cox on the back end, but Damon has been claimed by Stitch as well, so making it a 1-for-1. This is important at this particular juncture, but Stitch, he's going to uneven that score as he takes down Panker as well.
Already the first take here for Runaway. Huxal is just free to do damage. This is the player that we've come to know and love, but is so good on the Genji. People have called him a one-trick, but he is forcing his way through here, and it is going to be a very quick cap, it looks like. Hongdu going to send Decay in for the delay, but not worth it here. There's the capture. Stitch has a pulse bomb, but he actually looked to drop it here. Not going to.
This is most certainly the Runaway that we were expecting coming into Season 3. And look at that, they are chasing them down. Stitch just looks so good. And look at this, it's still even a stagger as they're falling down. It's like falling down a staircase, you know? We're watching, what is that dang thing that's that falls down.
Slinky?
Slinky! It's a slinky of kills. God damn it, that would have been so much better if I had have actually known the word.
Well, look, I mean, I just feel like when you look at what Runaway has, this is their bread and butter. This is what they're known for.
Yeah.
And Mirage is given so much more room to work with the 2 DPS to pressure. And Stitch was basically getting free kills. Oh, nice sleep.
Oh my god.
But
Not sure how that one worked, as Huxall's going to try and
Here's the
deflect.
dragon.
Yeah, Dragon Blade comes in, looking for the backline, but it's a good answering sound barrier to stop that one from coming in. Kongdu Uncia already able to claim a couple of kills early on in this fight. The front line actually tearing it up for this squad. As Huxall, he's still alive, but he just can't quite get himself the picks that he's looking for. Stitch is in now, Runaway trying to answer. As Bubbly falls, Huxall eventually gets taken down, but it was a lot of disruption. There's no kill to come out. I thought that might actually get them with the self-destruct. As Butcher thrown out of the mech and immediately destroyed by Stitch.
That was definitely unnecessary to use a self-destruct. He wanted to use it to survive. Not only did he not survive, but the rest of his team wasn't there. Poor coordination. Totally wasted the self-destruct. Not even going to switch either. That was definitely not what you want as a diva there. So, bought some time, but for no avail, as this looks to be shoved all the way to the first checkpoint here. Second, I should say.
Yeah, Mirage, you can see, able to get the tracking in, working out quite well on the Soldier this time around, and my god. Kongdu Uncia, I feel like they've been dead more than they've been alive.
I feel like Nomi came into the booth in that tactical pause and told Runaway to remember who they were.
Yeah.
And they woke up, and this is just dominating what we're seeing right now. Huxall uncontested. Oh, when you have 2 of the most mobile heroes in the game, Tracer and Genji, flying around the backside, getting these picks consistently, it's hard for Uncia to even stick together as a 6-man here to group up with all this harassment. Here we go again, onto Damien! And he doesn't get the stick, but nearly gets the pick.
Yeah, at least forces them to scatter there as well as Runaway now coordinated assault, but it is going to be Damon picking up on with that tac fires. We've got the Primal Rage thrown out as well. It's afforded them a couple of picks here on the side of Kongdu Uncia, who have finally realized that they can kill the members of Runaway. To be perfectly honest, that's not been feeling like they've known that just recently, as Mirage waits for that heal deny get cancelled out.
They don't have Tracer in this composition, and they're actually just going to stick with a double DPS themselves, the Soldier and the Genji, and just hasn't been working out very well so far. It's a very squishy composition, not as mobile either. As you can see on the screen, Stitch is on fire because Huxall gives him the room to get into the back lines and do that damage. This is another very aggressive Butcher self-destruct here.
Yeah, Sound Barrier comes in as well, but Huxall just pops the Dragon Blade, gets himself out the door, and immediately kills Damon. It's another one as Cox is going to fall down as well. Has he managed to pick up enough here, though, is the question. Yep, he certainly has.
That's question answered right there. So it was actually the self-destructive bumper that came out that ended up did not connected there. Sorry, confused the colors for a second, but definitely did not work out the way they wanted to. Very haphazard, the usage there. As Runaway now looks to build up ults again, it's going to take a long time. Huxall switching to the Winston, actually.
Yeah, they've actually switched it all back around. We've got the Zenyatta coming out of Cox, so going for this defensive composition once again, probably the one that they've been practicing. Maybe something that they want to do. Maybe they thought that they couldn't utilize it in this choked up corner, but Decay, he says he's more than happy to kill you when you pick up a Winston instead. Self-destruct flies through there as well. Oh, good sleep. Mirage is actually on the payload. Thankfully, he's still going to be moving forward.
Okay, here's the Nano Visor coming out from Damien, though. Even with the Transcendence here, it doesn't look like this is going to be usable for Runaway. This next push is going to be shut down. They do survive it.
Yeah, it does at least answer the tac visor nano boost combination. The self-destruct flies down, forces everyone to move themselves forward as Decay trying to utilize the space gain to get out this Dragon Blade with that sound barrier defense as well.
Fortunately, can't really find very many targets. They will pick Bumper out of his mech suit, but Runaway just didn't have a really nice setup there. They were forced to use the Transcendence.
Their original push was just so good out of Runaway. The first cap was fast. The streets phase was basically non-existent. Kongdu Uncia at this corner in the Foundry, well and truly held on to this point.
Huxall gonna have Primal Rage in just a moment here. Trying to control this. Bumper actually pushing onto the Reinhardt now. They're just gonna try to force this in. Slow and Steady wins the race now, as they were basically speed running the first part of the street space. Here comes Huxall.
Yeah,
jumps in aggressively.
Primal Rage is gonna immediately get rid of Decay, who's been so important here for Kongdu Uncia. Now he's just jumping around. Doesn't want to get knocked off the edge as any of these Kongdu Uncia members. And now look at him, so aggressive right at the spawn. Mirage is going to answer as well, grabs a double. That's both the supports. Make that a butcher as well.
Damien just trying to buy time here, but I don't think it's going to happen. Decay's picked as well, and that's going to be the push. One more attempt by Damien. They're actually slowing this down.
Bank gets onto the point, but not for very long. Bubbly was bouncing, but that's not going to be enough. And Runaway, this is what we were expecting.
So Haksal came in, dove in, knocked Ana away, couldn't protect the soldier, then forced the attack visor out. The attack visor was used in that spawn doorway. Haksal drops the bubble down, and so we just see a soldier shooting into the Winston bubble, can't get out of the spawning location even. And Haksal just basically took that fight and carried it. He actually forced everyone back, knocked them into disarray, and when they were respawning, he had the control of that spawn location. He did what Envious failed to do earlier on King's Row there with the spawn cap. He actually made it work. He had the Primal Rage, he had the shield in position. Very well executed there. So not the largest time bank here for Runaway, but they get the complete push.
Yep, nicely done. Come to Uncia now on the attack. We'll see what they decide to do compositionally. There are certainly a few opportunities, and what Runaway want to do, because their comps have been strange. They've been different, and I really do like what Haksal was able to do at the very end, like you were mentioning, giving him well and truly the props for that. But I just love his Genji so much more. So it's always dangerous to move him away from it. He's back there now. It's the pretty standard 2-2-2 composition that we've seen.
We'll see if Bubbly's actually going to stick with the Mercy. It's absolutely a possibility. That spray says, good job. Well played in Korean there. So we'll see if this Mercy comp comes out. If they want to try to do something with the res. The Widowmaker as well, they're going to have Damien on that. If he sticks with it, so he's going to have the boost. Not going to be with the Zenyatta. Again, this is just assuming they actually do this. That's better safe than sorry. Wait on this one. 10 seconds left in the spawn.
And oftentimes you'll want to, just look out the window as Widowmaker and then switch over to something before you hop down, like any sort of option like that. But Widowmaker has been stuck with a few more times than not over recent times.
Okay, we are going to see the boosted Widow now. Coming up with the Mercy, buffing the attack power here, looking for picks. Runaway already predicting this though, and they're just going to tuck away
really
around
like
the corner. Ooh, pause comes out.
Slight pause. See whether it's a peripheral issue or something else. But already, I do like the thinking of Runaway. Some of that has been questioned with compositions, things like that, decisions that they've made with where they've put characters, things like that.
Yeah, well, the Widowmaker is not getting value yet, but it's still early. And I'll probably switch things up real quick. Not entirely sure what the technical issue is here, but looks like it might be on the side of Uncia.
Yeah. Runaway. We're looking pretty comfortable there when we saw them just a moment ago. So Dance
with a floppy name tag here, looks like it's a keyboard problem.
Yep.
But yeah, Dance actually pretty accurate at several kills on the support today, and this comes again back from a player that was known for hit scan in the past.
Yeah.
And has been pushed into a completely different role. So we're going to see this transition for players that have a long history in Overwatch of moving from DPS to support, but still having that kind of mind of an assassin in terms of bloodthirsty supports, as Doa would put it. So that's the thing that I want to keep highlighting when we see these players that have swapped to support roles and come back on the DPS, like Harry Hook actually playing the Soldier earlier. And you could see the headshots, the good accuracy here for Dance once again. So,
and if you actually look at the amount of heroes that he has played over his career as well, I mean, percentage-wise, it's not like, oh, well, he played mostly this, but then could flex to all these different things. No, he's basically played everything, man. Like, most of it being on like things like Roadhog, the Soldier, the Tracer, things like that, more of that DPS flex type position.
He's even played Hanzo, for example, and Carry back at the beginning in Season 1. So sometimes that clip actually comes up in our commercial breaks. You guys have probably seen that. He's just a great flex player. And
it's just a good Overwatch player, man.
Yeah, and when they needed the roster to be rearranged with Butcher, Damien, kind of role swapping and the movement of some of the DPS players into Panthera, it's good to see that Dance can kind of carry the team in a different way, moving into this new role, looking very good on it so far. So far, so good for Uncia. Very impressed in this series. As we have the very briefly unpaused.
Yeah. Man, can we just recount the action that we saw? I mean, there were a few bullets flying in. Did we see any tick-ups of any ultimate counters
I saw
or anything like that?
Reinhardt move left to right a little bit with his shield.
Oh,
yeah.
You see, that tells us a lot, Wolf. What we're going to figure out there is the fact that he has got his mouse working. So we're not going to have another pause immediately after this.
It also means that he might be a little bit impatient given the situation that is arising. Obviously, technical issues are always frustrating in esports, but they do happen. And no one wants to have an esport played where not everyone is in their perfect environment.
I'm pretty sure you don't want to play against a team that doesn't have one of their keyboards working, as we are now going to hop back into the game. And it looks like that keyboard has been sorted out. Oh, looking for the tag, doesn't get the flick.
Runaway immediately hiding behind this corner, though. No one really available. Now the Ryan shield's up, and here comes Stitch for the harass.
Oh, nice pick-off, and they play so defensive until they can afford to let that one go. But it has been answered. Huxall, he's fallen as well. Butcher claimed that kill, so nicely done, making sure it's a 1-for-1. They can still retain some control.
That's just the dive on a Damien immediately. The really defensive position here for Runaway is just not able to find much.
He's committing to this Widowmaker.
Yeah, which can be a big liability. They're trying to break the Reinhardt shield to give him that opportunity. Decay's coming around the backside here.
Yeah, breaking these barriers as quickly as possible as well. You can see the dash was actually invested into that one as well. Stitch misses the high ground there.
Okay, here's the opportunity. The Ryan shield is almost down. He's actually above it right now. Just wants to brust it. There's the kill.
There it is.
See,
the
once
headshot onto the monkey.
Once the shield's down, that's where you get. Decay going to pop the Dragon Blade with this opportunity now, and they're going to get a big wipe on the Runaway.
Really nicely played from Kongdu Uncia. And Runaway had the right idea. It's like, make sure that this Widowmaker can't actually get into a position to kill us. But as you can see with the kill feed, he's most certainly coming up with those. Now able to claim that high ground, moving into the streets phase. Payload is going to come out. It's nicely done, and he's poking his head in.
This could have been a great moment there. The Ryan shield going to be up now that they know where he is, but there was one opportunity there for him to take the shot. One shot, one opportunity. He took it. Okay, they have the vision here. Panker's actually doing Panker things here. He's looking for a flag.
Does have his ultimate available there as well. The Primal Rage can come out. They can afford to be a little bit more aggressive as in goes the Earth Shatter. Gets the pin kill onto Panker as well, who was unable to even throw down the ultimate. Mirage answers with the kill onto Decay, but there's the res. Kongdu Uncia had this available to them the whole time. Bumper's going nuts with this hammer, but he's getting knocked away by a big monkey that's just respawned and threw down an ultimate. There's the pin, but look at him. He's just a ragdoll right here, and Butcher somehow picks up a double kill with the self-destruct.
Well, it was so well played, they actually displaced the Reinhardt before dropping down the self-destruct, so he wasn't there to protect. That was really well done. The Bumper the last to die there as the push continues for Kongdu Uncia, but let's not forget Runaway had a similar speed run, basically, an even easier one, so...
The speed limit in the streets phase of Kings Row is certainly high today. Wolf, don't you worry about that.
All right, well, it's swinging around now looking for that second checkpoint.
Yeah, may need to stop for a second before we parallel park this payload.
Oh, Damon snipes him mid!
Pops him!
Mid-blink!
That was a body shot as well with the upgraded damage, I believe. No, I actually don't think it was. All right, he was just a little bit low. Panker's able to grab a couple of kills there as well as I speak. Make that 3!
And they're about to have another res too. This is going to be the checkpoint for sure, but there's so many tools now on the side of Uncia. This Damien is just making this happen. Sadly, some of these shots we're having off screen, but you have to respect he's killed Stitch, I think, 4 times now.
Hopefully we can see some of these highlights moving into the end of this, but Runaway, 3 ultimates available. Not many Q buttons there for Kongdu Uncia, just that res that is up, which will buy them a decent eco push if they want it. Continue that one through. Stitch now trying to get some damage down. Yep, there it is. Damon's going to be able to pick up one. Stitch answers with the kill onto him, but Panker, he's going to grab it, immediately uses his ult, and welcome back, Damon. You've been rezzed up.
Damon's up here flying, looking for the angle, right to the bubble.
Remember, that bubble's actually his, so he's capable of getting some of these kills. It's a double kill with a pulse bomb. In the meantime, though, as Runaway answered this aggression, just moving past where the Widowmaker's focus was.
A lot of resources used by Uncia for this push, including the res, which is why I really respect Bubbly going to switch back.
Well, they only really had the res.
Yeah. Well, they used that, and they had the Primal Rage popped as well.
Yeah.
Panker.
I believe there was also an Earth Shatter that Panker was able to build up, but Bumper answered with his own as well.
They came in, they dove, they got a few picks, but unfortunately the resources were developed there for the back line, but the front line actually came in and killed everyone that was squishy on the ground. D-Man switching over to the McCree now.
Doesn't seem to matter. Still seems to be able to snipe out these kills as Bumper's going to be taken down. Transcendence comes in. As Runaway are trying to hold on with only 5 members remaining. Butcher does hop into Baby Diva. He is able to get that mech back up again as Damon not able to quite get the flick shots off with that shield still up.
Here comes Decay, immediately popped there.
See you, man.
Home run on that one.
Oh, good lord. That was a sleep coming out of Dance, so was able to at least slow down the Reinhardt for a moment, but unfortunately he was woken up pretty quickly.
So Runaway again with just better ult economy on the defense right now. It's really starting to stack up. Banker does have the Surge Shatter available here. Looking to push through.
Building up towards the Deadeye is Damon, but there's Panko throwing down the Earth Shatter, and that's Stitch able to get a kill in response to that. That ultimate did not a whole lot at all for Panko's Reinhardt, and he paid for it with his life. Runaway tearing them up now, and it looks like this Foundry is just where it is difficult to hold on to this payload.
I mean, Damien picked off immediately by Stitch was actually the big first problem there. They didn't have anything to pair with the Earth Shatter, which was used late. Butcher threw his self-destruct out earlier, so now Uncia has no tools. They have 2 minutes left to build up those ults, but Runaway has again just been more efficient, holding these several ult pushes using no ults or very few. Stitch again looking for the backline, drops down the pulse bomb. Not the best angle this time.
Yeah.
He was discorded, so perhaps a bit desperate.
Didn't quite find his way through. Decent harassment out here, though. They're trying to get rid of this Diva mech. You've noticed these Tracer players actually throwing a lot of bullets into what should theoretically be the tank line that wants to be getting that, but just it is so important to be able to do what you can there. There it is, bit of zoning coming out from Damon, but oh my goodness. The Earth Shatter wasn't enough to get rid of that ult, even if it wasn't able to actually lock anyone down, and now Kongdu Uncia able to answer. Bumper immediately falls, but now Runaway with that tack visor available are able to get some of these kills. Mirage doing some work, everyone backing away. Side of Uncia.
Okay, Decay has the Dragon Blade. This is going to be, oh nice, this is going to actually really ruin the spawns here for just a moment. So this is actually going to give them a slightly better opportunity. See how he uses this Dragon Blade. Runaway is very defensively positioned now. The spawn is really their Alamo. They don't need to push any further up. Stitch has the pulse bomb, but the Dragon Blade is going to be key. Here it comes!
We'll see what he can actually do. Bumper immediately falls down. Big shield now unavailable as Damon was taken out by Stitch. That could be important here for Runaway. They want to answer back. There's an Earth Shatter, but only gets one of the stuns, unfortunately, on the side of Panka. But it seems to be enough here as the pin's going to come in, gets rid of the monkey. Immediately throws down that ultimate, I believe, gets himself out of there. Barrier comes in as well. Panka, just gets minced.
Fire Strike coming through, and now Mirage is about to have another attack visor to shove them back. Only 12 seconds to go to get back onto this payload. Don't think it's going to happen here. They got one last attempt. Decay is actually waiting to get that overtime procced. Here he comes. Gonna have to buy time here alone for the rest of the team to come back. They've got one more shot.
I feel like they will have 6 on this point, thankfully for the overtime, as there's the Deadeye, but there is a shield in the way. It's not like they're... Gets the pick onto Cox. Is this going to be enough for Kongdu Uncia to actually make it to the end point? They're picking up so many kills. Mirage and Run are the only ones remaining, and that's just going to be cleanup. Have they bought nearly enough time? I think they have.
All right, they get it here on overtime. That was a close call. Very well done. I mean, look, Decay comes in to buy time there, and he buys just enough. The whole rest of the 5-man comes in. They get the pick onto Cox, and they snowball it immediately right afterwards there with very few ults to speak of. That was just Runaway struggling to deal with that heavy dive. It was almost like they had their hands off the keyboard, like they thought that was over.
Yeah, ready to celebrate, right?
Yeah, and Mirage didn't even get to use his tack visor, was not in position there, so losing the Discord or some Cox immediately is a big problem, but it just felt like they suddenly fell apart there at the last moment. That almost shouldn't have happened, you could argue, because of the tools they had available they just did not use. And well done there, Uncia with the surprise take. Still, it wasn't overtime, so they need to full hold here.
Yeah, 1 minute, 20 seconds. Runaway to try and get that first tick, that first point.
It's not a lot of time pool to work with, so this is absolutely feasible. You know, if we were talking 4 minutes, we'd be saying, like, this is going to be a tough one, but this is absolutely doable for Uncia. So incredible they got that last push.
But I mean, today, what we've been seeing from the first point, especially in this series on Kings Row, is that taking that first point is actually pretty damn fast for both of these guys. We'll see whether something changes on the defense. Looks like a pretty similar composition to me at Kong to Uncia. Just going for that 2-2-2 now.
Yeah, Runaway with a triple. Stitch for the back line. Haksal coming in as aggressively as well, and Uncia is just going to walk away to try to get him killed first. And will they get it? They do.
They do. Butch is able to take him down. Maybe a little bit too aggressive on that one, as the mech is going to fall down as well. So important as Kong to Uncia are trying to get them off this point. They are going to do so. There's still going to be another push available here for Runaway unless they get staggered.
You know, in a game of dodgeball, if the defender catches the ball, the attacker is out. And I felt like that's what we just watched there. Uncia with a perfect response, backing off, just catching the ball of Haksal, running in, punishing him, shutting him down immediately. And that burned through a lot of the time of Runaway. They were super hyper-aggressive there because they know they just need one
Cox,
tick.
he's going to get picked off here on the side of Runaway. Yet another tool that they can't use to try and get onto this point. It's 30 seconds to go. That could actually mean a lot as Dance is going to fall down as well. Tac visor from Mirage, but it feels like desperation as the Genji's jumping around. Not going to get caught out by that one. Butcher is going to get taken after his mech falls as well.
Stitch has to buy time here, and he will.
Grabbed a couple of kills, actually, as Panker and Decay do both fall down. Cox grabs Bubbly as well, and that is going to be that.
There's the cap, and Runner comes over to you and me, baby, to Mirage, who, after a rough time on Oasis, definitely has come into his own. Definitely felt probably pretty bad after that loss there on the defense where he couldn't actually pop his tac visor. So that was probably Runner being like, I told you got this. Runner, one of the most, I would say, emotional and hyped up, amped up players in all of esports. And to have him on your side when, remember, the community's against you if you're Mirage here. They criticized his play. The crowd's with him. He's got Runner with him. And they will tie us up 1-1. An incredible last push there for Uncia, but still the cards were so much stacked against him with that push. Only the one tick needed.
Yeah, and the fact that it was Mirage that saved the day as well. I love that. The fact that Runner immediately is so empathic, you know, as the team leader. But we are going to have a short commercial break. Things are all tied up in this, the final series of the night, and we'll see who's going to pull ahead in our third game after this short break.
봄꽃책에서 듣다. 있는 그대로 맑고 깨끗하게 피어나라고 겨울을 이겨낸 봄꽃이 내게 말했다. 맑고 깨끗한 칠성사이다.
노력은 선수를 만들고 코어 i7 프로세서는 멈추지 않는 파워를 드립니다.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Apex Overwatch Season 3. We're up to game number 3, in fact. 2 CP between Runaway and Kongdu Uncia. And Runaway actually answering fantastically well there on King's Row. And we'll see whether this breathed new life into the team as we saw Mirage and Runner celebrating so heartily towards the end of that last victory.
Feels like momentum has definitely swung over to the side of Runaway, but this series absolutely could go either way.
Are you saying that they could run away with it?
They certainly
Because your
could.
pun work, honestly, was pretty magnificent in the last series.
Thank you.
Whether you meant it or not.
I'm a punny guy.
Oh, God, no.
So we're moving into Assault, otherwise known as 2-point capture for our third map here. Will be the choice for Uncia. That's where they want to take us.
I'd like Volskaya again, but
I
we'll
know.
see whether things get changed up.
I don't want Hanamura myself, but we are going to Volskaya. Seems like a lot of teams are...
It's my birthday, so
Yes.
I just asked the teams to just give me Volskaya all day.
Wow.
And it happened.
You are just so influential
Yeah.
on this day of 365.
I want everyone at home to know that I definitely did not do that, and that
So-
was most certainly Kongdu Uncia's decision.
I do want to just point out that Volskaya is actually rising in popularity right now. We saw a lot of Hanamura early on in the season and also in promotions, but feels like teams are starting to feel more and more comfortable on Volskaya now. As maps become more popular, they become more commonly picked because you want to kind of make sure that you're scrimming on the maps everyone else is too, so you'll get thrown
Yeah.
off guard. So
So-
it's just the way of things here.
Yeah, if they were playing against Rogue, it'd probably just be Temple of Anubis happening all the time because everyone's scrimming on that one. And that'd be a little bit of a rough one. But, ladies and gentlemen, let's do it. 2-point capture for game number 3.
I get it.
Whoa.
The
Okay.
energy, I'm feeling it.
Yeah. Kongdu Uncia leader is most certainly leading with passion.
I
in these
saw her.
chants.
She stood up and jumped while she was
Oh,
screaming.
yeah. Oh, yeah. That squeak at the end was honestly just like her letting out all of the rest of the excess energy that she'd built up.
And whatever else she could get with her vocal cords with what oxygen was left in her lungs.
Yeah, it's like more of a pop. Something like that. Well,
So-
anyway, we'll see
so,
whether
bruh.
her power is going to work on Uncia here to try and claim back the victories.
Indeed, and Sombra being played by Cox currently. 30 seconds to go here. I think that this is going to be a keeper. So powerful on Volskaya, and we were just seeing this trend. It's almost a must pick at this point. I mean, even NVS is running it, so you know that even the Western teams have adapted it now, both of them. So Volskaya is Sombra's playhouse right now in terms of the defense. We'll see if Cox can match the hit scan that we saw from Chips earlier this evening, as that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, and that was, of course, on Volskaya as well. Chips had some unbelievable runs of play, though. I don't think Cox even necessarily needs to do that well to get a victory here. So that was sort of next level. We'll see what Kongdu Uncia can do on this attack. Running that 2-2-2 composition with a Zenyatta instead of an Ana or a Mercy, anything like that.
It's going to be Decay on the Tracer instead of the Genji. Driving the backline in a different way this time. Cox looks for the harass here on the Zenyatta, actually. Gonna find anything more here, it looks like so far. Sets up the defensive translocator.
Yeah, high ground being fought over here by both sides as well. See the jump to come in, but Uncia's health bars are getting torn into, and they're forced back into this room as well. Cox just translocates, easy times.
So we've seen a lot of teams, including Luxury Watch Blue, run this high ground attack because it's so much more difficult to use the hacked health packs when you're dealing with the fights and skirmishes on the high ground, because the health packs are on the low ground.
EMP.
Still has the EMP though.
And it's going to be 3 kills immediately from Runaway. Nice utilization of that ultimate that was built up so quickly. Mirage as well. I love that kill onto Decay with the Helix Rocket. Shoots it at his feet, guarantees the kill. Nicely done.
They had that first attack run on the high ground, avoiding those health packs, still not able to prevent Hawks from getting the EMP. Regardless, that was what won them the fight. They didn't need to use really anything else. So they have the tac visor available, as well as sound barrier is going to be up very shortly. Uncia built Damien's tac visor as well. Let's see if he wants to go for a surprise one here on the side. Already Runaway is positioned against this.
Yeah, we do have tac visor coming out from Mirage very early on in this fight as well. As there it is, the answer from Damon there as well. Mirage able to get a lot of damage in, but not necessarily confirming the kills onto Kongdu Uncia. Pulse Bomb comes out, doesn't get anyone as Cox finally takes down Damon on the high ground. We've got a mech kill as well as Cox. He's doing his best Chips impression right here on this Sombra. And Mirage has so much space to work with.
This is the difference, you know, we were critical of Mirage's play earlier, but it was just that he was always harassed in the backline, and this time Uncia isn't able to get on top of him because Cox is non-stop harassing himself, and the EMPs are coming down. So, you know, it's not an issue of the aiming or anything like that from Mirage, but when given the room to actually use these tac fighters as well, when given the room to actually have this range of the hit scan on the high ground, even on the low ground, he's doing a lot better for obvious reasons.
And that was like only the tac visor used on defense there for Runaway, so they've got all of the other ultimates now available. EMP in the backline as he just pops his way in. That's the Pulse Bomb easily picking up the kill without those buttons available, and everyone else just files in.
I think that was actually a 5-man or 6-man EMP there.
I hate it when they do this.
It's sad, poor Diva.
So sad, little baby Diva can't get off the edge.
All right, let's watch this again. Look, comes on the backside. No one sees him. He's cloaked. And boom, I'm pretty sure it hits 5 members there.
Yeah, and also the fact that he waits until the very end of that invisibility so that he can give his team as much time as possible to capitalize on the EMP. Just really beautiful stuff. And as well, actually wasting as much time. Transcendence now forced out here by Kongdu Uncia as Damon. Decent positioning, good layering of ults as well as the sound barrier immediately after the Transcendence. But is it going to be enough to actually get them onto this point? I'm not entirely sure. As Kongdu Uncia already lose 2 members. Good kill with the self-destruct coming out of Butcher as he actually manages to grab the mech as well. Damon with the Helix Rocket's able to answer, and now Kongdu Uncia finally able to actually get the kill advantages on Runaway.
Okay, EMP gonna come down here. They're not gonna go and contest this. Just wants to switch off the Sombra and do one last fancy big at EMP, it looks like. Yeah, they had some time to maybe come back, but it looks like they're just gonna simply give this. Look at the position you can see on the, I was gonna say, look, you can see on the mini-map, but you can see on the, what's the word for this? Silhouettes, where everyone is set up. So Runaway just concedes the point, knowing that attacking there would be futile and could actually give the opportunity for Uncia to double cap. Too risky. And that was really all in Decay. He did so much harassment there in that fight, as we saw in the first-person view. Pulse Bomb connecting to a lot of damage.
The boop! Bumper actually bumped him off the edge. I understand why he's called that now.
Yep. Oh, gets
A
one on the
second
bubbly as
one.
well. What?
Oh, what is this? That's the fun stuff as Bumpers knocked out of his mech for the moment.
Well, I can almost guarantee that's not going to happen a third time. As Panker does the Lemmings reset here, jumps off the side.
Yeah, everyone just hopping in as quickly as possible with Runaway attempting to get as many kills that they can.
So
they don't necessarily need to worry about.
Key to note, with Cox actually dropping the EMP, I thought for sure he would be switching. But let's be real, EMP builds so fast, he's going to have it again anyways. But
yeah, very true.
He's sticking with the Sombra, so they're just going to use this for some big EMPs. The point here is so narrow and you funnel through a choke point, so EMP is so powerful here as well as on point A.
Decay actually taking a lot of damage. They were ready for him when he snapped back. Bumper as well, grabbing some health packs here that are still available here to the Sombra team. EMP's available, but Stitch actually threw down his ult and immediately died. Wasn't able to get too many kills back. Tac Visor coming in. Mirage is doing his best. Good Transcendence to deny that Tac Visor from coming in, even if it was a little bit late. As oh god!
Mirage with the accidental killing himself, but at least he took Decay with him. But Runaway looks to push this back. Big EMP going off once again. The hack onto everybody means no abilities. This is just too much of a disadvantage. Uncia will once again have to reset for another push. Yeah. Ripple there.
The first tick was so close. Runaway successfully able to deny that completely. Point resets. Uncia once again have to try from the beginning. 2 minutes remain.
Another EMP available.
Oh god.
He is just going to come all the way to the backside. Harassing, looking for the pick on the dance. The 1v1 here.
That is exactly the pick that you want as well under the relatively immobile and squishy Zenyatta.
Yeah. Ended up being like a 3v1 there at the end, so Cox had enough and translocated back to the health pack. Still has that EMP available, wants to buy time before using it though, so the rest of his teammates have ultimates available.
Sound Barrier does come in, Panker still has the Primal Rage available as well. EMP comes in.
So well used, hitting so many members. Transcendence comes out after it wears off though. Will this be enough for Kong to Uncia? They do get the pick onto Bumper's mech. Coxel down as well.
Stitch throws in the pulse bomb, but doesn't actually get the stick onto anyone. Barriers in here onto the point as Kong to Uncia really want to try and cap it right here. They've only got a minute remaining, and they have managed to pick off Runner. Stitch gets taken down, and Runaway. It's going to be very difficult now. Big sticky from Decay into the backline onto Mirage, and I'm pretty sure that was just after the Tac Visor as well. Denial of the ultimate.
The attack still continues here, but they didn't get enough picks. Decay gets another onto Huxall. It's not over yet, though, as Cox comes back with another EMP. Massive one coming down here. They only have the one tick. I think with this EMP, that should be the hold, or maybe not.
They've got ultimates back again, and they're tearing up Runaway. Once again, they find themselves with only half their team remaining. Make that only a third, as everyone has to now respawn and get themselves onto this point. They might be able to stagger this one out effectively, as we've only got 30 seconds remaining. But it really looks like Kong to Uncia have established control. Butcher goes down. He will try to make his way back here. Stitch is picked off, though, as Runaway just doing not enough to try and reclaim this.
They can't hold on much longer. They're just being killed one after the other here. They're not gaining any momentum back. No one on the side of Uncia is dying. In fact, Panker and Damien are about to have another ult. EMPs here. Butcher's here.
Yeah,
now
turns up once again. Pulse bomb just avoided by everyone. Scatter to the hills is now, it's the merry dance of let's get the hell onto this point and delay it as best we can. But look, one more tick remaining. They're staggering these back so nicely. Look at that, goes up, finishes him. Very end there as Runner was just sitting in that hole, nowhere to go, and that's going to be that. What a for Kong to Uncia.
What a great delay, I have to say, by Runaway, though. I mean, they really, that looked like there was no way they hold, and they actually were somehow able to get the good respawns. I feel like Decay showed an incredible Tracer. We were more talking about his Genji throughout King's Row specifically, but now he's showing his ability to flex onto the Tracer and constantly harass the backlines there. As you definitely pointed out, killing Mirage before the Tac Visor could go off, just constantly harassing him in the backlines, and there was really good patience as well by Uncia to make sure they didn't actually desync their ults when they came in against the EMP. They always just waited and waited and waited, and Cox eventually like, look, this is a 6-man EMP, I'm going to drop it. But Uncia just kind of waited for it to wear off and then actually came in with the ult. So the EMP really valuable, especially when you can, say, when a sound barrier goes off, prevent the Genji from Dragon Blading or something like that. But in this case, Uncia just really patient against it. They did get the cap in overtime, so Runaway still has a very solid chance as they switch to attack. And notably so far, Uncia hasn't put the Sombra in, so they may be running a Sombraless here. I expected Dance to be playing it, but so far on the Ana instead.
Yeah. Bit of an old school type composition here. Opting in for that Ana Lucio support combination we saw so much Season 2.
Huxel on the Genji. Always a terrifying thing to behold with the triple DPS. Mirage is going to have a lot more room to work with to finish those kills off. And that's why this triple DPS with the Tracer and the Genji is so strong. It's so difficult to track down those, you know, zippy Genjis, the Tracers. This gives Mirage the opportunity to finish off the targets they weaken while also being protected because the DPS that's trying to kill him is under duress. So
the thing I find interesting is the fact that we're running single support here with Runner being the only option. Apart from some healing coming out of Mirage, you've got Bumper on the D.Va still and Cox on that Winston.
It's just a full dive, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
They're all in on this.
Often you see the Zenyatta instead of that D.Va, so we'll see what Runaway can actually utilize now on the attack, trying to get themselves onto this point. They will have a little bit more beef in the tank, but just not as much staying power unless Runner can really make himself the focal point of this healing. Already this high ground is being claimed. Good boop, gets Damon off the edge. And Decay gets the pick in the backline onto Cox. So important as Mirage. He's at least able to answer with 2 of his own, making this an even playing field once again. But look at this, Mirage on the low ground actually, but still relatively untouched as everyone else is being forced to focus him if they can. Butcher gets the mech. His is going to get taken as well. The double boom! Oh, God!
And that is how you do it. That's going to be a cap here for Runaway. It looks like Uncia doesn't really have any tools to deny. Let's watch this again as the mech goes down. He sees an opportunity, and there they go.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of a mistake by Dance to be running that direction. I guess there was really no way out.
Super
Might have actually
clutch
been
by the captain as well, man. Like, understanding that they got to try and get this cap as quickly as possible, build up that time bank, and really put the last nail in the coffin onto Kongdo Uncia. Put them at match point here, game number 3.
Didn't have to use the sound barrier there either. Huxel is going to have that Dragon Blade fairly soon. This could get disastrous. Uncia not that many tools to work with here.
Good pulse bomb onto Huxel, though. That's going to delay that that Dragon Blade very effectively, as Decay's actually going to follow that one up with a double kill if you include the mech.
They actually wasted the sound barrier, sadly, with no follow-up.
The drive-by, smack on the back of the head.
Ouch.
That's going to take him down. Stitch going to be denied.
So it's really unfortunate that Rudder actually used the sound barrier after such an amazing boop there. So I'm going to have the tool that he needs to empower the Genji. In fact, Huxel is going to switch off of it into the Winston. So they're going to change up the comp entirely and run this 2-2-2.
Probably wanting to have a little bit more beef coming into this second point because it's so choky. Mirage having to deal with a big Winston who's tearing him up. He's got the nano on him as well. Has to jump his way out as he comes back in with that primal rage. Cox takes down Decay. That could be a big deal as Panka is going to punish him for it. Still able to get a lot of disruption happening on this Winston.
Buy them a lot of time, but still 5:20 left on the clock for Runaway to make this happen. So just waiting for a good clutch opportunity. They want to use Stitch to disrupt the backline so Mirage can have the perfect attack visor. So again, this series feels like it's all about whether Mirage can be given the space to actually do the damage necessary, as it's been straight on the soldier the entire time, with the exception of the Pharaoh on Oasis.
Yeah, Stitch being a nuisance in the backline, but Hitscan not necessarily finding the targets that he really wants to. A lot of healing now available back here as well, as Mirage says, get the heck out of my house. Pulse bomb comes in, gets the sticky onto the mech, which is important. In fact, Huxel's going to fall as well, as we've got the double kills on both of the
this is enough for Mirage, though. Look at this.
What is happening?
He's been given the space to work with here. This is what I was talking about. Pulse bomb comes in, knocks out the D.Va, and then suddenly Mirage just has no one to stop him.
Well, Butcher's trying to buy time on this point. It looks like this time bank will be massive, though, if Runaway can actually get this successfully. Stitch picks up 2, and this could spell the end. Make that 3, as the emergency maid try and come in and set up on the point is denied completely. Couldn't even ice block.
All right, just trying to buy time here right now is Damien actually on the Sober. He pops out, though. This looks to be the captain, just trying to keep the D.Va out. One last chance here for Uncia. Sound barriers
so
up.
Close. Samberry does come in. They're just doing their very best to negate the time bank as much as possible. Mirage saying, well, I got attack visor. I may as well use it because it's not going to be possible to be used after they manage to take the point. Gigantic time bank and Runaway make it 2 in a row.
That was gnarly as well. The time bank they're going to have to work with.
Sorry, not 2 in a row yet. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Sure, but they are likely
pretty good.
The chances are pretty incredible here. All they have to do is get the tick with, I believe they have 5 minutes on the clock, somewhere around there. And listen, I feel, I have to say again, when Stitch is able to get back there, knock the Diva out, there's no shields, there's no one to block.
Yeah.
Mirage, and when he's left to actually just, even without attack visor, his accuracy is on point. So I think those community members that were trash talking need to maybe quiet down a little bit, because when he's left the room to work with, he has really been killing it. So let's see.
This composition also worked so well for Runaway in their first capture. I mean, I know a lot of it came down to Runner getting that phenomenal boop off the edge towards the back, but still feel like they were coming out ahead, and this did seem very, very practiced from this squad. So now Kongdo Uncia need to try and get their heads in the game, sort this one out for the defense, because they got a long time to hold.
See if Mirage gets that space he wants to work with, man. It's the bumper on the deep again, so it's the full dive. They want to just take control of that high ground once more, then drop down low while they leave Mirage up on the high ground, pick off the weakened targets that they are diving onto. Target selection needs to be good here once again. If they can remove Butcher and Panker, or at least break his shield, that's when Mirage is going to be able to do that damage, get those headshots.
Yeah, and Stitch getting that harassment on the Diva Mech as well is going to be important as he looks for that flank on the left-hand side. Mirage setting up, just trying to build ult charge as much as he can. Not a lot of pressure on him in that regard, just because they do have 3.5 minutes to get this one done. But look at Stitch, already doing work. Bumper has grabbed himself a kill. Bubbly grabs the boop onto Cox, and this could be super important, to be perfectly honest. Mirage says it's not, though, as he picks up 2 kills in a row. Butcher's doing what he can, but look at this tick. It's getting close, and they do make it back.
They did it with their first push. Just hyper good target selection. And they got the pick onto, or they nearly got the pick onto the Winston super early on, forced him out of the fight. The shield was used early once Diva got out of the mech. Just, I mean, the coordination for Runaway on that push was way better than the defensive setup of Uncia. There was so much pressure on them just because they had to defend the whole tank. It's so difficult to do so. We saw in our previous series, it was a lot better done, I feel like, coming out from Meta Athena when they had to deal with the same.
Yeah.
But this time, you know, Runaway didn't even need to build up the 6 ults.
Look at Runner's face. He's like, yeah, that's right. He's just ready. He's just ready to take this series.
Runner is, you know, you could tell he's definitely moved into such a coaching and shot calling captain role.
I feel like he's the psychologist as well at the same time, you know, keeping everyone positive.
Well, as we see a tactical pause is being used here now for Uncia, you have to keep in mind too, this Runner is as good as he is as a player. He's, I feel like, much better as a motivator. It almost feels unfair that even though tactical pause is used for Uncia, Runner is basically a coach. He's basically that mentor they have. It's like they are always on the tactical pause. He's standing up in the room just like the Uncia coach is right now. So,
yeah. Now you can see big smile on Mirage's face. Really feeling like he's managed to redeem himself. Runner looking incredibly proud still. But this is all going to be out to Kongdo Uncia and whether they can bounce back, because they were able to take control in very convincing fashion. It was feeling like they had the mindset down. They knew the comps that they were going to be running, and it looked, in want of a better word, very controlled on that first point. But, I mean, honestly, it's just felt like Runaway have had it since then.
Well, Jungfield, the coach here, on the side of Uncia, and ex-Heroes of the Storm players, played on this stage. He's been down in series and come back. You guys are Heroes of the Storm fans, you'll remember him. He was on the team Rave Hot, so he has a large competitive background, knows how to motivate this team. Rave has been down, had reverse sweeps when he was a player. Now in the coaching role, bringing us back for Uncia. It's not going to be an easy comeback in this series because it feels like the first map, Runaway was just experimenting on the way. So they didn't run their normal composition, their normal style. Now the Hoxell's back on the Genji and they're making this dive work. I think trying to find an answer for that is going to be key, because Mirage was really struggling. We didn't have Hoxell diving on the front lines. We didn't have all that support, but it feels like he's suddenly coming to his own because Runaway has been able to give him that space. I know it sounds like a broken record talking about this, but someone needs to get on the back of him, and they did switch Decay onto the Tracer to harass him a few times. I feel like that's the way. I want to see Decay picking him off, looking to get that harass, because if he's left to do the free damage, he gets his tack visor so early.
I think the thing that's like really difficult about that is the fact that you've got Stitch and Huxtile running around on their main heroes that they're so incredibly good at. You give them the Tracer and the Genji, that creates space for Mirage, not because of where they are on the map or what Uncia is doing. It's the fact that if Uncia wants to win that fight, they have to kill those two first. Yeah. They are the priority targets. I mean, Mirage has some question marks surrounding him, but my god, like, Huxtile and Stitch will kill you if you don't kill them first.
Exactly. And if you compare Huxtile's Genji, Stitch's Tracer to both on Decay, who's actually played both, it feels like mechanically he's not as strong, he's not as solid, so perhaps that's why they're just struggling so hard to use him on the Tracer, to get in the backlines to pick off Mirage. The protection has been good. Bumper on the D.Va, just harassing as well. And that's why this dive feels like it's almost like a 5 DPS, because you have the Winston coming in, the target selection is really good. They remove the D.Va on the side of Uncia first. Once the D.Va's down, then you knock the mech away, and Mirage can do a lot better. Get on the high ground, unharassed, because there's no Tracer. It's just the Genji oftentimes with Decay.
Yeah.
So
the thing that Runaway have, though, is that, I mean, it says, like, Bumper is a tank, yes. Runner is a support, but everybody else is basically flex, apart from Stitch, who plays Tracer. But you need Tracer every single time, and it's fine. It just gives them so much flexibility in what compositions they can run. They can basically do anything. You got Huxtile, like, the fact that we thought he was just Genji only, nah, that's not true. He also plays Winston, who's like the main tank in most compositions. Cox can also freely switch over to that as well if they want 3 DPS, things like that. Let's have a look at what our escort map is going to be. It's going to be Route 66.
All right, we are headed to Big Earls.
Yeah, possibly even past it.
So for Runaway, the defensive setup on top of Big Earls might not even be the way for Uncia, because we've seen what this dive can do. It can break high grounds, can get behind teams, and rip them apart. I worry for Uncia with this map choice, because this is the best map for dive, especially on the early game, where you do push past that gas station Big Earls. And I feel like Runaway is the best team, potentially in the world, at actually breaking that. So we will see. It feels like a risky pick to me, Atlas.
Yeah, does seem difficult. Of course, it's not Gibraltar, so I'm upset. I mean, it's my birthday, guys. Why aren't we heading over to Jibby? But it doesn't matter, because Route 66 is also fun. Let's do it. Possibly our final match of the night.
I get it.
Oh, man. Fans well and truly behind both of their teams right now. Almost desperation in those voices, as this is possibly the last opportunity for Uncia. Certainly do or die at this point to bring us to a game number 5. Give us the maximum games for tonight. What a birthday present, Wolf.
Do you feel gypped that you didn't get to go to Jibby?
Yes.
Sorry about
Oh, God. I shouldn't have mentioned your puns, because now you're just going to take it to the next level.
I promise I won't. I've never lied before. I've never misled anyone.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. You've only ever been honest at all times.
Well, Runaway is going to take this high ground position, obviously, on Earls. So they want to run it with the double DPS Mirage and Stitch on the Tracer. Huxtile, even though he's not on the Genji here, defensively can use the Winston bubble to protect against the dive that will likely be coming out here for Uncia. Bubbly on the Mercy. We'll see if he switches that, actually, or if they want to look for something more with this. Going to be a Sonic Arrow first for Damien.
Yep. Cox onto his tried and true, of course, was basically an Ana-only player for a long time until he decided to flex it up. Has been impressive, actually, with most of his picks. Is Damien going to pop back inside? I almost thought he was going to hold on.
Yeah, me too. I was like, ooh, nope.
Yeah, something exciting.
Well,
but he switches to the Widow, so
okay.
We're still feeling good. We're still feeling good. Can't find the snap, and you can see Runaway more than happy to let this payload move forward because they want that high ground position to be where they hold them off.
This is quite common, obviously, on this map. Bubbly's going to stick with the Mercy just to attack boost there. The Widow.
Immediate Discord Orb comes out to deny Stitch's entrance into the backline.
Nice shot there, but looking for the pick on the auto, but here comes Stitch once more. And we saw this attempt earlier, just did not work out with the Widow just constantly being harassed on King's Row. We'll see if he sticks with it long term here as well.
Oh, unfortunately, Damon just unable to find the shots there. Had a few fantastic opportunities with the positions he got himself into, but just couldn't really lock that one in there. But Payload has at least moved almost all the way towards this first point. The Stitch almost had his life taken away by Damon.
I don't think the Discord was there. Either way, he's looking for this pressure. It's just unsuccessful so far. Here's the infrared scanner to get him perhaps some more vision. He's looking for the pick onto Mirage, but again, just so unsuccessful. It's not just about the picks with Widowmaker, it's about the pressure that grants you. So they do get this around the corner as here comes Decay with a dragon.
Oh,
picks
the
up
double
two.
kill in the backline immediately by Decay. Can't quite find too much more in answer, but this may actually have bought them the first point as Bumper's going to fall at the same time. That's a Quadra, and that is just ridiculous from Kongdu Uncia. Runaway were basically team wiped. Mirage and Cox, of course, respawning before the rest of them were killed. So this point easily taken.
So even though Damien didn't have the flashy moves, he brought the extra pressure to give Decay that very early Dragon Blade, because the Reinhardt shields and the Winston shields were being put down early because of the pressure he put off. So it's not always, again, about the kills with the Widow, it's about the pressure.
Oh, okay, got it. Shatter comes in, Decay actually able to get out of the way. No, he wasn't, he was just destroyed. Bumper was able to pick him up there, and Butcher takes him down. Good res comes in from Bubbly. Kongdu Uncia deny the couple of picks that did come in. Runaway used the sound barrier at least as Damon now very defensive positioning. Can't really offer too much more from that back line depending on where Runaway are going to be.
Okay, Stitch has that pulse bomb available. He's going to look for the harass now. Damon is also looking for him.
Did fall down. Hoxall, the monkey trade.
Monkey trade, I like that.
Okay, picks up Cox and Runner though, almost by himself, and that is going to mean a lot of pressure available actually.
So the push continues. I mean, this is actually a pretty speedy push. Runaway's just going to concede this point for now. I know the speed limit on this map is 35 miles per hour, but they're almost going faster than that.
I know, it's like a King's Row speed limit happening right now. But Runaway, all grouped up. Okay, try and hold this one off before the second point.
They're going to dive hard. It looks like that's the plan. Stitch coming around for the flank.
Got that pulse bomb at the ready, jumps into the back line. Yeah, Tesla Cannon just means that he can't really hang around as Damon having to deal with this. Well, it was actually just Mirage that took him down, so it doesn't even matter about the Tracer.
Butcher was doing everything he could, but the Vince Matrix has a limit.
This is nicely played. Hoxall's able to take down Dunce though. Kongdu Uncia with a lot of ultimates available. But without that Transcendence there as an opportunity, it looks like they don't necessarily want to press their buttons. Lovely. Could have had the opportunity to res him as well.
I think they want to use the res after a big Dragon Blade or just engage into that. Okay, here's the infrared once more. Is looking for the angle here. If they can remove a target, they will come in. I think this is it. They might jump in now. Here it is. Okay, they get the pick. And now the Dragon Blade comes out.
That's just looking so easy here for Kongdu Uncia. Decay, that's 3 real quickly.
Bumper trying to buy time, but he is going to get knocked out of that mech real quick. Even the kill on the Stitch, who was trying to harass for some more pulse bomb charge, got greedy. Now he's got a late
accidentally
respawn.
Killed him.
Well, I mean, that's what it takes. When you get the one pick like that, that's when you could dive in. We have so many tools. And Runaway just can't even, with the late kill on the Stitch, contest this point. They're going to try for it regardless, but it feels like perhaps a wasted effort. Already Hoxall.
Yeah, was thrown in on the side of Runaway. Bit of desperation, like you said, though, because it's just not feeling like they have too much of an idea of how to counter this one out. Decay once again picking up a double kill as he's dashing around. Doesn't even have the Dragon Blade yet, but it doesn't even seem like he needs it. Damon's able to pick up a couple of kills here as well as Runaway once again running away and unable to stop this payload from making it to almost the final point.
Decay's playing a really good game this series, and I feel like the coordination of Uncia has definitely been stepped up going into this fourth map. Because with Damien actually giving the extra pressure, they are actually taking these opportunities very quickly to dive in. Once Hawkcell was removed there, Dragonblade came out, and that was all she wrote. Surprised he came back in with a Primal Rage there, because I think that point was almost certainly taken. They lost it. Now he doesn't have that ult available.
Yeah. Well, remember, I mean, 2 minutes and 20 seconds, definitely still able to be held here by Runaway. The final point is Decay threw down the Dragon Blade, but didn't actually find anything there at all. Runaway, on the other hand, were able to pick up a couple of kills and are now chasing Kongdu Uncia out of this one, staggering the kills nicely, actually. Because I feel like the Baby Diva could have been held there for a little bit longer before she was taken down. Didn't actually need to be the case, as Damon has switched finally off this Widowmaker. They've made it inside. Doesn't feel like he really wants to be.
It's really tough here. You've got to get very far forward, and where Stitch is going to have so much fun if you actually go far enough forward enough to get a shot here. I look for those shots on the McCree. You see a lot more mobile, and has a lot more defense.
It's a minute and a half now, though. We're looking at a little bit of desperation, and that was a good flashbang coming out of Damon.
Ooh!
Oh, fantastic. Double pin, I believe. Was very, very close anyway, as this McCree is running for his life, but it's Mirage that finishes off the kill. Good shield blocks that self-destruct damage. His runner's able to pick up his opposite support in Dance.
And they didn't have to use the Primal Rage, the Transcendence. These ults still available here. Uncia is running out of time. The last Decay Dragon Blade we saw wasn't as good. He's really struggling on this final point to actually build the Dragon Blade. Only halfway there now.
The control, Wolf, you know, just being able to only use that one ultimate, hold off the push. It's like if you get these couple of picks, you know a 6v4 situation, even if they're going to use their Q buttons, it's just not going to be a victory for Kongdu Uncia, so they hold on to them. We're almost back to having 6 here for these guys as Stitch is jumping right into the backline runner. The first one to fall, though.
No one's touching Stitch. He finds the angle here. Tries to knock out the Diva Mech.
The Deadeye was actually used there as well, but Damon couldn't find anything. Was just bopped away. Taking a fair bit of damage. Bumper's going to be able to take down Panka, though, as Damon grabs Stitch. Yeah.
That was great there. That was a really nice stun. Always tracking him as well.
Transcendence going to be used here by Kongdu Uncia as Runaway. In comes Runner. Throws down that sound barrier immediately. Decay slashing around with the Dragon Blade, but once again, that was almost a non-factor. You've got 5 seconds to go, and Kongdu Uncia is going to have to take this to the end in overtime if they are going to be successful. Earthshatter doesn't really find anyone once again. Some of these ultimates towards the end just really aren't working, but it doesn't seem to matter here. They're able to grab a couple of picks. There's a flashbang. Bumper gets headshotted.
The accuracy on Damien in this final push, breaking that Reinhardt shield, getting the headshot immediately afterwards, has the Deadeye, won't necessarily even need it. You see the Transcendence comes out.
Will buy some time here as he got booped back, but it's not quite enough to get them off this point. There's the Deadeye. Damon just says, well, get off the point or die. He's able to pick up Stitch there with one. I believe that was just a headshot afterwards. There he is. Oh my god, this guy's eye is most certainly in now on this McCree. Kongdu Uncia, looks like they've done it.
I feel like you could see moments of brilliance in the play of Uncia, and you could see really, for both Damien and Decay, really strong moments of, like they've suddenly become another person. They've transcended their normal selves, and that was what we saw when Decay switched off the Widow. His accuracy was incredible there in those final pushes. Some clutch headshots, the Deadeye there coming out, getting the headshot into Stitch, killing him several times actually. So it was like the hunter became the hunted in that matchup with the Tracer trying to harass the McCree but was being killed consistently. It was still a tough push. There's not a large time bank there. But, you know, finishing in overtime, but still.
Yeah, that's sort of no time bank, in fact.
Yeah, the negative time bank almost in a way. But regardless, they do get it through with some clutch plays in the end. And Runaway run for their money.
Yeah, forces Runaway to make it all the way to the end as well if they want to push this into that tiebreaker and get themselves the 3-1 victory. And look, difference between a 3-1 and a 3-2 is actually important in these best of fives.
It actually is. Especially because Runaway got 0-3 against Africa Freaks Blue, so they wanted this 3-0 to neutralize it, and Uncia is already fighting back, and maybe they bring us to a game 5. Who knows? They could take it. It's not over yet, but Runaway going to be on the attack here with 4 minutes to spare. Running once again this dive, and This is the dive I was talking about. Runaway is so good at it with the triple DPS and Hux on the Winston. Bumper on the D, but holding the top high ground here for Uncia is going to be a nightmare. It's going to be so difficult against the really practiced dive composition of Runaway. Like I said, some of the best in the world at it.
I just love the 3 tank 2 DPS, especially for Runaway as well, just because Cox is so good somehow at Winston after being basically an Ana player for so long. So Winston does look good in his hands, even if Huxal has had more of the flashy plays. Oh, Damon looking for the snipe offers. Now it's going to be the defensive Widowmaker.
This is still very viable. See if it works out this time. It's going to be dove upon very soon as this rounds the corner.
Yeah, Huxal just making sure that he stays out of the way. We'll see whether he's going to be able to get the optimal use of that deflection. Grab himself a headshot or two onto
Here comes Stitch.
Widowmaker.
Not actually committing all the way up. Dance actually pushed him back.
Yeah, ooh, takes a lot of damage actually as Mirage Helix rockets in. He's taking a lot. He is actually picked off, so it's Decay that grabs that kill. Might spell an opportunity here for Damon, who's gone 1v1 with this monkey, and he is going to win it. It's actually the rest of his team that was able to help out. Pank claiming the kill credit.
Yeah, we had it off screen, but that kill on the Mirage was critical. And now Runaway's going to have to set up for another push. Nice kill, nice snipe on the Huxal. Yeah, this is going to be completely reset for Runaway.
Just denied, and we saw Kongdo Uncia there. Attacking push was actually so much stronger against this side, and this time around on defense, they've built up 2 ultimates before Runaway can build really anything. Make that 3, actually. I believe we had Recon Visor, Damon, already utilized.
Uncia having the res is going to be so important when the dive comes in. Huxal close to the Dragon Blade. Runner could actually maybe force him into it with a sound barrier, but he can't die.
Damon's just going to get picked off. Oh no, Tac Visor comes in, but immediately Bumper says, see you later. What was that? The double kill as Runner and the mech are both taken out by Damon as he pops back up with that res from Bubbly. And it's like they didn't know it came in, and they just presented their back to the Widowmaker, and he took them down. Decay is able to grab one there as well on the cleanup.
Rez comes in, Mirage wants to fight the world alone, but Damien's going to pick up the double. It's actually kind of haphazard there by Mirage to just run in from the side, basically alone there after the res came down. So still keeps his tac visor, didn't actually waste that at least. And now they're going to have the sound barrier and the Dragon Blade. And that's when Huxal's going to look for the opportunity to get in there and get enough kills to push this checkpoint. It was a close call there, almost didn't need it in the last push.
Well, in goes the monkey to try and deal with this Widowmaker as the Dragon Blade is what's going to be utilized in order to get that one done. Huxal doing Genji things in the back line, does get rid of the Widowmaker, but that is a lot invested just to deal with her. Butcher has been taken down though by Stitch, and Huxal now in the 1v1 in the corridor, just picking up the kills. Cox there as well as Bubbly isn't going to be able to res anyone. Didn't even have it up, but still, no more heals available, and finally Runaway get control of this payload. Should make it to this first point unless Kongdo Uncia can delay it further.
Yeah, it's definitely very expensive in terms of resources used, ults used, like you said. The Sound Barrier, the Dragon Blade, the Primal Rage. Stitch actually looking for reinforcements here as they actually do want to commit to stopping this. Decay's going to get the 1v1 onto Stitch.
They do lose the mech though. Panka going to answer with the kill onto Runner. This is actually really important and maybe an overextension. Damon's going to get taken out. Just bopped on the back end by Cox, but that does leave the rest of them open. Huxal taken down. Runaway still answering as the monkey makes it back into the fray. And there's the res. That is massive for Kongdo Uncia.
Exactly
look at the health buzz. He's getting healed back up. What was that? He was so low. Bubbly's playing like a hero right here, but it doesn't seem to be enough as that was a pulse bomb coming out. Picking up a bit of damage. Stitch still doing work.
Spawn's getting a little bit staggered here as they are just struggling to hold this point. 17 seconds to go. Need to buy more time. Huxal's got another Dragon Blade here. And this may just be enough for them to grab that checkpoint. 3.7 meters to go. Yeah, they will push it.
That's going to be it now. 2:37 on the clock in order to get this one to point number 2. So, Runaway, it was honestly, yeah, a lot invested, and that came down to the wire. Last time we saw Kongdo Uncia do this on attack, they had a heck of a lot more time to make it to the next point. We saw how difficult it was once they made it into that corridor the first time, inside.
Stitch is actually going to switch over to the Widow. We're going to have the Widow battle here. See if he can actually pop Damien down. As if he can, he's going to be real happy about it. Going to give a lot more freedom to his teammates. He's unable to find anything with the Tracer so far. He's been really struggling, so actually kind of a weird switch, but I do like it.
Oh, the double! The Pulse Bomb comes in for Decay, takes down Cox, takes down Mirage, and Pank is able to grab a kill with the Primal Rage as well. I mean, look at this. Kongdo Uncia is saying, yeah, we can invest ults in a fight as well.
Well, one of the things as well, it's a lot easier for Uncia is when Stitch actually switches off the Tracer. It gives more room for Decay to actually get in the backline because he's not actually playing defensively. He's actually given so much room to get back there, drop that pulse, good angle. And Bubbly just has another res available here. It's going to be very difficult, Runaway, to push this into the second checkpoint now.
Yeah. Stitch as well, switching immediately, like you said, yeah, back to the Tracer.
Yeah, I mean,
and just popped by Damon.
I think he's just so frustrated
That
at this
was a
point.
powered up shot as well, as Damon grabs a headshot onto Mirage. Is this a highlight reel? As the self-destruct buys the space, and Damon's actually going to get taken down by it. Maybe his head getting a little bit too big. He says, no, I cannot be killed. It will be enough for me just to stand here and take the self-destruct to the face. But no, most certainly not. Too many kills coming in. Good pulse bomb, but that's going to be the Transcendence. No! Doesn't save Runner. Is going to be taken down. Bumper gets the mech.
Mirage
trying to trade
this.
kills.
He pops this, but does have the defense of the shield to help out, actually, finally, once everything wears on against him. We see the res come in, though! That's what I'm talking about! A huge res!
Baby!
Will he be able to capitalize on it? Mirage is dead right afterwards. It's actually kills fine on both sides.
Unfortunately, it just doesn't look like enough, as Bubbly is going to get taken down. Not a lot of support now available for Kongdo Uncia. As Damon, he's incredibly low. Butcher as well as Mech's not doing so well at this point. Decay gets popped by Cox.
15 seconds to go here. Uncia
still so far to go.
Yeah, Uncia actually doesn't have that many tools on the defense here. They're going to have a Pulse Bomb and the Primal Rage.
Is
so
important, though, for this sort of defense.
See if Damien's actually going to switch. He will. He's going to switch to the Soldier 76 for this last dish attempt to bring us to a Game 5.
Oh, I feel like this point is getting very, very close. They don't seem to be able to come back quite quickly enough. Can they get a dash in, anything like that? Barriers flying down by both Winston as Kongdo Uncia make it onto this point. Before it has been caught. Mirage has to deal with it. He just gets slammed to the face. Yeah, Stitch getting a pick onto his opposite half on the Tracer, but still not sure whether... Oh, God, Runaway need to get back to this point. There's only 3 members alive. I think a few of them are still running back.
They need to get on it. Okay, they need to stay on this. Here comes Runner. He barely gets a sound barrier. He was down to like 2% health, but I don't think it's going to matter here,
Stitch
Atlas.
can't do it. Oh my God, Huxo makes it back to the point, but no dice. That is going to be that in 5 games. Both series, we are getting our money's worth tonight.
I feel like this was all about Damien. At first, it's talking about the pressure of the Widowmaker. If you can get the kills, if you can get that, that's amazing. It's not all the pressure, but at the end there, he was able to kill Stitch. I don't even want to know how many times Stitch died. Stitch was so frustrated on the Tracer, they actually switched to the Widowmaker himself and immediately died and switched back to the Tracer. Second he respawns, he's killed again. And Damien was, he was getting the headshots when he was finding the right angles. And just completely obliterating Stitch. You don't think of a Widowmaker as the counter to a Tracer, but it felt like in that game, that's what we saw.
I feel like it probably should be the other way around, Wolf, but you're exactly right. I mean, I wasn't totally sold on his Widow play at the beginning just because, it wasn't that flashy Widowmaker that we're used to seeing in a lot of these games where she sort of pops off. But breaking shields, making sure that she was getting that recon visor down at exactly the right times and sorting things out. And then, on the defense, my God, that's where the kills started to fly in for this guy. We're going to go to our final hybrid map of the night, and it's going to be Numbani. I like it. I feel like it's only Eichenwald that we haven't had tonight.
Right?
I believe it's only Eichenwald that we haven't had tonight.
I believe so.
The double King's Row, always okay. We get to hop over to Numbani and Hollywood as well.
Game 5 here, it's all on the line. Remember, even if Runaway takes the win here, they were big favorites, most considered, even with their weak performance because they were sick. Kaiser's still sick. He tweeted about it on Twitter. Even with that really weak performance against Blue's gone on to win 2 Series 3-0, so everyone kind of accepted that as a fluke. But now, even if they win this, they only get the +1 indicator point with the win. They wanted the 3-0 to offset that loss to Blue, so Runaway, even with the win, is so
far ahead.
Here.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, they're not even going to be able to make it back to even with a victory here in game number 5, which is actually going to play on their mental state. I know we talk about the fact that their mental's actually very, very strong with Runner there to keep everyone together, but going to be so difficult when they're still going to be so far from that top spot in their group. But ladies and gentlemen, game number 5 is going to happen now. See whether it's going to be Runaway or Kongdu Uncia.
I get it.
Whoa. This is game 5 energy, Wolf.
That it is. It's all going to come down to this one. The hybrid on Numbani. We'll see what Uncia wants to run on the defense. Bubbly is showing that Torbjorn. We've seen him play it before. Looks like that's what we're going to be seeing. So solo heal on the Ana, unless it's just fan service.
He's running pretty far out.
Yeah, it looks pretty real to me.
We've seen it a lot here on Numbani as well. We'll see where he actually decides to put. What I want is the forward turret. Build that Ragnarok.
Yeah, he wants
Sorry,
that
Molten Core.
Molten Core super early. That reminds me of Ragnaros.
Yeah.
The Fire Lord. Well, that's another franchise entirely, but he's just the Swedish Overwatch universe version of Ragnaros himself. Once he gets angry, and you know, this is just to build that faster.
Think about what it'd be like to have Torbjorn in Heroes of the Storm, you know?
Yeah.
That'd be cool, man.
I mean, I'd love it.
Is it a little bit too close to what Provius is?
Well,
I don't know. I feel like we're talking about the wrong game here. Thankfully, it's the same company.
Well,
Still.
I mean, I'd be down for it personally. All right, so let's see what this turret can accomplish here. It's going to be annoying. This looks like completely avoided.
Yeah.
They just didn't take this path.
Bypass.
Which actually does tell Bubbly, you can tell us to his teammates that they're not going that way.
Early information actually gained, and maybe that scouting mission is going to be enough here. Different utilization as Stitch takes a lot of damage. Hops back, but Mirage is able to immediately take down that turret as Bumper gets rid of Decay. Damon as well kills Runner early. That's actually really, really important now as Runaway on this attack looking so strong for the first half.
Looks like they're just going to cap this super early. The Torbjorn defense not a success. They can't even get back on the point.
What was that, though?
The accuracy from Mirage, so good here. That'll be the cap very early on with their first push, basically. And I think Bubbly is probably going to switch off. He does immediately upon dying here to the Lucio.
Yep.
The first turret didn't do anything for them, and the second one they struggled to set it up because, again, Runaway just so aggressively diving in. And once the turret couldn't get up, Mirage was free to do what he would with the Pharah, and his accuracy was quite good back there.
Yeah, it's like one of the first times that we've seen Mirage off the Soldier as well, as this barrier is going to get eaten pretty quickly. Oh, Pulse Bomb came out. Runaway just going to utilize Sound Barrier. Butcher's going to fall, and Runaway just fighting with Avengers. Haksal! What is that? Already picking up two. Attack Visor comes in from Damon. He's still alive, but he only gets the one pick off, and Stitch is going to answer with that one.
Probably going to regret using the Attack Visor there as well. Just no support from his teammates, and that's an ultimate that takes a long time to build up. Remember, Runaway does have the res available. They've just been so efficient with this pushing. They're going to get this checkpoint very soon. Uncia doesn't really have much to answer right now. They have the Primal Rage. Mirage is completely uncontested right now, as you can see.
Yeah, getting boosted up here as well. Rocket Barrage flies forward. There's not going to be enough from the Winston to stop him from getting a lot of damage in here. That pickup on Bubbly was fantastic. Pretty sure that was a... Oh, what is this? Mirage silencing the haters right now, able to avoid the self-destruct there as well, which I was sure was actually going to be able to take him down. Gets himself back into this fray. The defense matrix from the D.Va, not enough. He's going to get taken as well.
And what isn't even really being shown on camera is that Haksal is harassing so much that the only reliable DPS that can knock Pharah out is Damien, who was stuck even behind this archway, so couldn't get an angle to kill him. The rest of the team of Uncia was too far forward, so Damien just couldn't fight because Haksal was on him. So was Stitch. And that just leaves this to just be, as we were talking about earlier, fish in the barrel. It's tough to hit with those rockets, but when you do, pretty amazing results. And Stitch is going to look for the pick here, potentially actually onto Damon, coming to the back.
Yeah, gets himself into the back line. Discord Orb immediately put on him really nice stuff, but is it going to be enough? Okay, Stitch going to get taken out by Butcher pretty much immediately. You've got a res coming in just to get the little Tracer back alive again, but it doesn't seem to be enough as Kongdo Uncia able to grab a couple of extra picks. Mirage trying to prove me wrong nicely, but Damon is popping off in this front line. Oh, Mirage answers with the kill onto him. There's concussive.
Ivy, that was incredible.
Yeah.
It's going to mess up the spawn a little bit for the Runaway team, though, even though he got the one in so much.
Runaway got so much time to work with, though, here.
Yeah.
Wolf. Like 4 minutes 20.
And the switch of Decay actually onto the Zarya is really popular on this point of this map specifically. We'll see if he can actually have a good Graviton Surge. The first time we're seeing Decay on the Zarya. Panker has this Earth Shatter as well.
Yeah, actually throws it down, get a couple of picks with it. Oh, and there's the pin onto Cox as well. Decay's gonna get taken down, however. Oh my god, all the picks coming in for Runaway. The self-destruct was there. Didn't get anything done, and actually could this be enough for them to be able to grab this? The spawn camping to come in from Stitch as they're getting so close, it's moving so fast.
Decay coming over, doesn't have the Graviton Surge just yet. Sound barrier's used here, but Mirage is trying to shoot him down.
They stop it from getting onto that point completely. As they're doing their very best to hold. There's the attack visor from Mirage, who switched back to the Soldier.
And
Runner's happy with that.
This is a case for Hoxall on the Winston. I feel like this was his best game.
He's had some really good plays on it, but you're right. I feel like this has been his best so far.
Yeah, this was his best Winston tonight. And, I mean, Mirage is definitely coming to his own. I feel like he's feeling less pressure now. The crowd is definitely with him.
Yeah.
And Hoxall allowed a lot of the things that happened in that game to occur just because he was so far forward. So Mirage was never pressured by the Soldier on the side of Uncia because he was always being harassed by either Hoxall or Stitch together. And that was the only hero that could knock Pharah out of the sky was the Soldier once the Torbjorn switch happened, of course.
Yeah.
And it's that backline pressure that Runaway is so good at that have allowed them to full push this with 3:25 on the clock. We had Runner with the tease of the Torbjorn because that defense for Bubbly just did not work out on the first point.
Well, he might actually decide that he wants to show Bubbly how it's done. Maybe putting his turret in a little bit of a different, less scouting-orientated position. Try and get some actual damage in here.
He's going to do it.
Yeah, he is. Opting in. So Cox going to go back to the tried and true Ana. Hoxall stays with the Winston there as well to continue with these plays. And we've got the double DPS. Mirage back onto that Soldier one more time like it was at the very end. Last push, and for the rest of the game.
Well,
the match, sorry, like in its entirety.
We talked about a lot of the players on Runaway being known for this style, and a lot of them call them one-trick ponies, one-trick Tracer, one-trick, Genji, but
yeah,
you see Runner even showing his flexibility. He's played some great Mercy tonight, and now he's showing us the Torbjorn, so team looks to be in good spirits now as a set of defense.
Yeah.
Torbjorn turret is ready. A lot more passive.
Runner is sort of known to flex onto the Torbjorn from time to time, but yeah, it's good to see him. He's just so quintessentially that Lucio bot.
Showing so much more with the Mercy today, and here comes the push for Uncia. Just swinging around, probably expecting this Torbjorn. It's so common on this map.
Which you notice it's a little bit quiet on the western front, but eventually everyone on Runaway shows themselves. So high ground positioning now claimed, but on multiple fronts. Kongdo Uncia have made it onto this point. They've almost managed to get to that first tick, actually, as Mirage has picked up the mech. Could open things up here for Runaway.
Ooh, Decay gets caught by that Tesla gun. Good deflect there, but it's not it off. And look at this, now Mirage just free.
Mirage.
No one contesting him. Tell
That
you what,
tracking was so nice, though.
in this dive meta, if you can't actually get your divers onto to Mirage, he will kill you.
Yep.
And he's always in good position on the high ground. Tracking, as you mentioned, superb.
He was killing someone and then working out who to kill next while he was also still killing the first person. Like,
He's able to keep killing people while he thinks about who's going to kill next.
yeah. I managed to say that as difficultly as possible. Also said
It's a tough thing to say.
Yeah.
Damon gets a pick here onto him, though. This is...
Oh, big sleep! As Damon is going to pass out for a little while. And that is going to give so much space to Runaway. Oh, Runner so close to getting this Molten Core available as well. They won't need it now, as look at all these kills. That's basically the team wipe.
That sleep was so clutch because, you know, Mirage.
It just made it a 5v5, right?
Yeah, exactly. Mirage is half of the damage here in terms of range. Runner's kind of a hybrid, right? But didn't have to use his Molten Core or anything like that, so he still has it available. He's going to have the Tac Visor now. Mirage will.
Ooh, the Garden Turret. My favorite kind of turret.
It's a Bush Turret.
Yeah. Well, Bush Garden. Is that a colloquialism thing?
Bush Gardens is a place in the States. I don't know. I don't even know what that place is, but I've heard the name before. Well, look at this. So much damage coming out from the turret. They're going to pop the Transcendence now. Dragon Blade is up here for Decay. Can he find anything, though? Gets the Ana at least. Cox is out.
He had to get right into the backline just because of the positioning of that self-destruct. Butcher actually able to pick up at least the turret with that one, but the answers are here for Runaway. Mirage grabs it, smacks Panka the side of the face. Pretty weird that bunting a gigantic ape is actually able to get it done, but it certainly does as Stitch answers the kill onto Damon.
Had to drop the Molten Core, but still, time is ticking now for Uncia, who's a lot in that last push. Decay, the Dragon Blade gone, the self-destruct. Don't have much they can use now, and even Damon doesn't have a Pulse Bomb just yet, so he's going to have to spend some time harassing to get it.
They did get the Molten Core, though, in that last push, so that is important. Okay, Nano coming out. Cox is throwing that one down. It's actually Huxtile in the back line, able to get Dance at least, as now Damon and Decay able to run through. They get the turret and the Torbjorn, but Huxtile is able to take down Decay. Butcher takes down Cox. Do they actually still have enough here? This Bubbly, he's taken out. Not a lot of support now available as Huxtile is so aggressive jumping around this fight, and Runaway looks like the defenses come in yet again as there are corpses flying everywhere.
Huxtile missed the melee, but there's just too many teammates to help support him there. If he had lived too, he probably would have actually had a Primal Rage here. But this is really solid defense for Runaway. They're going to have so much to work with in just a moment here. Now, when you look at what Kongdu Uncia has, they just don't have really an answer. They're going to have to carry this without big ults.
If they can't get this point, then this is just it. This is the best of 5 series for Runaway right here. They know that as well.
Can he find a pick? He needs one. He's already being chased down by the D.Va. Looks for the pick on the Cox. Can he get it? He fails, and Stitch has already knocked Dance out of the fight.
Yeah, as far as this Tracer battle is concerned, it's Stitch that's redeeming himself. 3 kills in a row. Bumper takes down Damon. There is so little DPS available. It's a double kill with the self-destruct at least, but I don't think it's going to be enough as the overtime ticks down and Runaway are going to win their second match. The crowd goes ballistic.
Decay wasn't able to get that Dragon Blade. He was so close there at the end of popping it, but it just didn't matter. The better Tracer play in the end, as we saw immediately the D.Va. Stitch, Stitch is the hero here.
Yeah.
But we saw the immediate chase on the D.Va, the defense matrix to stop Damien from doing anything. He was picked early, and then Stitch was able to get those additional kills, and things just started to sweep from there. Butcher with an incredible self-destruct, but again, too little, too late. But you do have to remember, despite the fact this was a win for Runaway, and they have this comeback from last week, their last match against Afrika Freaks Blue.
Yeah.
This wasn't the dominant performance fans expected to see. This really is going to hurt them going to this group, because despite the fact they got the win, they didn't get the 3-0 or even the 3-1. That would have given them a better position to try to get out of this group. So, really sad days for Uncia here. Runaway, they could be happy about the win.
But they can't be that happy.
Dominant.
It's only a one-pointer, you know. This is what you just mentioned. They were expecting to try and get that steamroll, get 3 points into the bag. They didn't get there.
Mirage really probably shuts down the haters tonight with his play on the